stream from? Okay. Just gonna let a couple people in. Good morning. There we go. There we go. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully I'll be able to catch everyone as they're coming in. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Cheyenne. I'm really excited. This is one of my first webinars I'm doing on my own. So I am excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really grateful to have you guys here. Hi, Wendy. I can see your face. No pressure. So this is what we're doing today. We're going to be talking about social media, email, blogging, and what kind of marketing should you use. This really falls under the broader topic of content marketing, and we're going to go into that today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really passionate about marketing, and I'm very passionate about small businesses and entrepreneurs and how to bring marketing to you guys so that it actually works and you're not getting lost and confused in it. And it actually helps you grow your business. This really does work, I promise. And what I'm going to give you here today as a professional marketer is the 20% of marketing it's going to need for you guys to get the 80% of results. Because I know you're busy. I know you have a lot going on. I'm a small business owner myself. My mom is a small business owner. I really, really get it on a deep level. So at the end, I'll have a little bit for Q&A. If anybody has some questions and I want to drop it into the chat, I'm going to record. I remembered to hit that button already. And I will send that out in an email afterwards for anyone that wants to review it or for anybody that is watching this on the replay, which is always fun. I do that a lot myself, so I totally get it. Okay, I have my handy dandy slides here, which I am really having a lot of fun with. I feel very fancy with my little on-screen slides. It makes me happy. So who am I? I am Cheyenne O'Driscoll. And I know a few of you already, which I absolutely love. Thanks for being here. I see some new faces, which makes me happy. Some new names. I like that. And I am a marketing coach and consultant. I work with small local businesses. I work with entrepreneurs. I have worked with over 100 businesses and organizations, and I have done work with them from all kinds of industries, from B2B, B2C, brick and mortar, online, service-based, product-based, all of the things. And the piece that ties them all together is that I love working with businesses and business owners that are really driven to give to their communities, whether that's geographic community or the community of the people they work with, their professional community, maybe other parents, whoever it is that they're serving. The business is more than about profit. It's really about investing in what they're bringing to their community. They really have a lot of pride in it, and they're very heartfelt. So those are the type of people that I work with. And I've worked with a ton of them across a huge range. And I have a professional background in marketing. And because of that and my experience working with all these different types of businesses, I have a really firm knowledge on the principles that make marketing work. This is not about following trends or trying to get the latest trick or hack. These are the principles and frameworks that you can apply across all kinds of industries. And this is what really drives results in marketing. And that's what we're going to go in today. Principles make me excited. I hope you guys find it a lot of fun too. I'm going to admit someone. Okay. So to really show you guys that this works, I want to tell you about one of my longest term clients. We've been working together 5 years. This is no get rich quick scheme. Marketing is not that. It's not anybody who tries to sell you that is just trying to make money off you. It's snake oil. Building a business and marketing is a long-term game. So over 5 years, this client, it's a local business in Quinte West. I'm based in Quinte West. He's a gym. He's a fitness center, a gym. We've gone from 5K a month in revenue to 30K a month in revenue. And that's over the COVID years. It's over a bunch of big franchise competitors moving into the market. It's facing a lot of challenges. It was not a smooth road, but because of the way we marketed, and he does his job, he invests back into the gym. He really pours his money into making sure he's upgrading. He's providing value to the members. Excuse me. But our marketing strategy was 90% organic content marketing. So we've done a little bit of ads. Every now and then we'll do a paid ad, but for the most part, we have grown from 5K to 30K a month using organic content marketing, which is what I'm going to talk about here today. So I just want you to really understand this does work and it does help small businesses and entrepreneurs scale. You have to do it right and you have to be focused and you want to have a strategy, but it really can bring substantial business growth. So that's enough about me. This is about you guys. And this is where you are, right in the middle of the marketing maze, as I call it. You're probably a small business owner or an entrepreneur, and you're probably DIYing your marketing. So if you're here today, it's because you're either in the stage where you don't have the revenue to justify contracting out your marketing and bringing in an agency or a consultant to do it, or maybe you really, really love doing it. I have quite a few clients that I coach that they just love doing their social media. It's not that they're big social media people, it's that they really like connecting directly with their clients and customers. So when we talk marketing, it's a profession. Any small business owner or entrepreneur, I know we're wearing a million hats. I have it myself. My mom is a small business owner, like I mentioned. And there's so much that you already have to figure out. You have to be able to show up and do your admin. You have to be able to do your money management. There's so many pieces to it. Trying to figure out marketing at the same time, it's a lot. And marketing is a whole profession. It's huge. I was able to study it for years to be able to get good at it. And I wouldn't even say I've mastered it yet because it's always changing. So to expect small business owners and entrepreneurs to be able to do that on their own, it's a big ask. There's a reason you find it confusing and frustrating and overwhelming. It's a lot to have to take on. It's not you guys, 100%. If you're finding marketing very confusing, I promise you it's not you. It's just the system that you're in the middle of right now. So I'm talking content marketing today. But what really is content marketing? That's a bit of a marketing term that you might not necessarily be familiar with. And it's what social media, blogging, email newsletters, YouTube videos, all of that falls under when we're talking our strategy and how we market. That's called a content marketing. And one of the first pieces when you decide to do content marketing, like social media, is not going onto your Instagram and throwing out a post. What you really should be doing is pulling back and creating a content strategy. You should really know what you're posting and why you're posting it. What's the criteria for this post? What's the goal? What's the intention? And we're going to talk about the pieces that it takes to create that here today. I'm really excited to share. It's once you find these pieces and you're really able to put them in your mind. I've worked with quite a few people that I've been able to train, and they're just like, I get it now. I see what I'm supposed to be doing with marketing. It clears away a lot of that clutter. So, definition of content marketing. It's the creation and sharing of materials like blogs, videos, social media posts to create interest in a business's products or services without directly advertising them. It's a really important piece there at the end. One of the most common mistakes I find business owners and entrepreneurs making when they first start trying to tackle their marketing, or even if they've been doing it a while, is they're using it to sell. They're using it to advertise. They're coming on Facebook or social media and they're saying like, here's what I do, right? Like buy my service, buy my product. But content marketing is not about selling. There's a place and time for selling. We're businesses. That's the name of the game. That is what we're based on. But you cannot build a awareness and nurture a audience if you're only trying to sell to them. I love to use the example of Red Bull. If you check out Red Bull's social media feed, you will never see their product on it. They do not do any posts about their products. They don't sell at all. Of course, they're a really big, huge brand, but they understand that their content marketing is not for advertising. It's for these three pillars we're going to talk about. So algorithm, automations, conversions. Oh my, I am sure these are things that have been rumbling around in your head and have probably been something you've tried to kind of get a sense of and get a type of mastery of and understanding how to bring them into your business. I encounter this a lot with my clients when I first start working with them. They're like, how do I work with the algorithm? There's the piece I'm going to give you today. I'm going to burst this bubble. You don't need these. These are not for you. These are large scale business tactics and strategies. These are not the scale you are at. The reason you're finding them overwhelming and confusing and hard to implement is because you do not have the scale yet where it makes sense to spend all kinds of time analyzing the algorithm. Recently, I actually just read earlier today, Instagram, you know how you hear about reels, 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 because the algorithm liked reels? The amount of reels that are produced last year went up 57%. So now reels views are dropping, they're tanking. So there's so much to keeping up with the algorithm and to setting up automations that will segment your audience so that you can email one thing and create, higher conversions, optimizing your conversions so you get more people purchasing. Those type of things work when you're talking 100,000 people in your email list or 100,000 people on your social media. They're a big scale strategy. That's not what we are. It's not what I am, and it's not what you guys are. Not if you're here today. We are small businesses and we need small scale strategies. This is why you're finding marketing so confusing. A lot of the dominant marketing advice is for big scale businesses because there's a really beautiful science that goes on those really large scales where you're mining data and you're using the algorithm. It's a really beautiful field to be playing in, but you have to have scale to be in that field. And one of the principles of business development is that when you're moving into a market, when you're trying to establish a market share, you're trying to establish an audience and a customer base, you cannot come against your competitors trying to fight them with their strength. They're more established. They probably have more resources to work with. It's a losing game. Blue Ocean Strategy is the book that goes into this. You want to come into the market understanding your strengths and leveraging those to create market share. And when we're talking small scale businesses and entrepreneurs like you and I, our strength is our ability to make authentic connection. It's really funny. You'll start to notice when you have this lens, big businesses are highly aware that this is a weakness of theirs. And the culture that we have right now is really shifting to a type of consumerism where people are craving connection within their consumeristic activities. They're not so interested in going to Walmart and going through the self-checkout and never talking to a single person. We have our days where we just don't want to talk to anybody, but we're feeling a lack. There's a lot of people shifting into shopping local or working with small scale service providers, going into an in-home spa because of the authentic connection that comes with that. Sorry. And the big businesses, because they do all of this analyzing on all of this market research, they're hyper aware of this. You'll start to notice campaigns and commercials that they're running where they try and present like the face of their business. They'll try to normalize maybe their owner or their CEO and put like a human light to them. Or they'll put their employees like, this is so-and-so who works in our plant in this city. They're trying to manufacture a sense of authentic connection because they are so concerned about the fact that we have that strength and they don't. So when we're talking your content strategy, your content marketing, you don't want to be chasing the algorithm. That is their strength. You want to be creating authentic connection with your community. Chances are, if you are a small business or entrepreneur and you're creating your social media or you're writing your emails, you're probably the same person that's going to be on the other side of a discovery call, or you're the same person that's going to be working in the brick and mortar when they show up to buy the bread. There is a high level of touch point you have that you're going to want to leverage. And I'm going to walk you through the 3 pillars that are going to help you leverage that into your content. I love 3. It's my favorite number. I even have 3 kids. So 3 pillars. Again, I love these graphics. This is so much fun. I feel like a wizard right now. It's really amusing me. So our 3 pillars are attunement, value, and quality. None is higher than the other. These are really criteria you're going to want to filter your content strategy through. And I'm going to walk you through each one of these. Ideally, you hit all 3 on every piece of content you put out. That's really the goal. You will be stronger in others, and some content will really, really resonate. Sometimes you can put out a low quality content, but if it has incredibly high attunement, suddenly you see it shared all over and you're like, what? That took me 2 seconds to put together. But these 3 pillars are everything when it comes to your content marketing. So attunement is content that resonates with and is relevant to your audience's current needs, interests, and challenges. If you've been doing any work with your marketing, I'm sure you've heard the term pain points. And you've all known that you have to go into your personas and your audience profiles and you create these images of them. This is where it actually becomes applicable. So instead of it sitting parked in a Google Doc, this is where you actually start to change it into content. You change it into something you're going to apply in your business. Quality is content that is well-researched, engaging, and professionally presented. This one can cause a little bit of hesitation. Again, I'm not talking the big guys who are using like 10K of social media content creation budgets every month. We're not going to compete with them. Good on them. They can have the algorithm. That's their game that they're playing. What I'm talking about is investing in your own skill set or the skill set of your team that's producing this. Value is content that informs, entertains, inspires, or benefits the audience in some way. It's offering them something useful or enriching. Your content is not about you. It's about your audience. It's not about selling. It's about building a relationship with them. And just like any relationship you're building, if you show up just asking them for something and not giving them something, there's no reason for them to engage with you. Any smart person would walk away, right? And this is why it's important we present with value in our content. I'm going to go into each one. I'm going to slow down a bit. I'm a fast talker. I know I can see people writing notes. I'm a very fast speaker, so I'll slow down a bit. And I'm going to give you really concrete examples of each of these so you can see how it translates into what you're actually posting on social media or in your emails or your videos or your workshops or whatever you choose to do. So, attunement. Anyone who's a parent is going to get this. You do not sell the bridge. Recently, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she was really like shortchanging her chores. She was just rushing through them and doing it, a half a job. And I got really upset. I really want my children to understand the value of doing your best at whatever you show up for. So I'm getting mad and I'm telling her it's not good enough. And she's saying, well, I did it, right? Like, this is what you told me to do. And it's a checkbox. And it wasn't going anywhere the whole conversation. So I had to slow down and I had to really put myself into her perspective and understand that she's 12. To her, this is just loading the dishwasher. This is not building a life value, right? That's not the point of view she's coming from. So I had to stop and attune to her. You need to apply the same skill set to your audience. This is why doing your research into who you're working with is really important. But the beautiful part of being small scale is that we have another advantage here. If you are a big business, you're going to rely on things like research documents and white papers and industry analysis to get to know your market. That's kind of what you have to do. Us, we interact with our market face to face. We probably know them on a first name basis. We probably know them really well. We probably know their kids. That's such an advantage for us because it's much easier to be genuinely attuned rather than arbitrarily relying on data to really get a sense of where they are. And this is where do not sell the bridge comes in. In the marketing world, we have a concept called the bridge. Where our clients or customers are currently is their current reality. This is their challenges, their frustrations, their pain points, where they want to be. The reason they would want to purchase our product or service is their desired reality. This is even something as simple as a sandwich at the deli. I love my local deli, Trenton Deli, is just down the street, and I love their sandwiches. So for me, that transition is I'm hungry, I'm craving something, fresh bread, fresh veggies on it. It's satisfying and it's quick and convenient. So that's where I am. And then my desired reality is that I'm filled, I'm not hungry anymore, and I'm really satisfied with the food I chose. So that's where I am, my current reality, and that's my desired reality. And the bridge is the sandwich, but you don't sell the bridge. You never sell the bridge. This is another really common mistake business owners make when they show up initially in marketing is they're talking about their product or service. They're talking about their business, which is the bridge. And that's our perspective because we are like eyebrow deep in the bridge. This is everything. We live, breathe, and eat our business. This is how we see the world, which is why we have this to bring to others. But if they already had that, they would be where we are. They wouldn't need us to bring it to them. And if they already knew about it, they would already be off hunting for a solution. You need, and the other thing is consumer behavior is not motivated by logical information. It's motivated by a desire for a transition into a different state. So the bridge is how they get to a different state, but what they're really buying from you is the change from the current reality to the desired reality. So your content should really speak and use the same type of language and the same type of emotions that they're in a current reality, and trigger the possibility of the desired reality. Really help them feel like this is possible. I know how to get you there. This is the feeling you can have. This is where case studies are really good and social proof is really good. Because if you ever read your testimonials, you'll notice people will describe their current reality they came to you with, and then the desired reality you brought them to, if they're satisfied customers. If they're unsatisfied, it's a different type of thing. But that's actually what you'll see. They'll be like, oh yeah, I was really frustrated when I came to Cheyenne. I couldn't really understand what to do with my marketing. And now I feel really clear and really empowered. They don't talk about the bridge, because to them, they don't really care what the bridge was. They just cared that they went from the here to here. So with my gym client, it's a really easy one to see, right? People, well, there's different market segments for the gym, but for people who are new to a fitness lifestyle, their current reality and their pain points are probably like, it's difficult to find the time if you work during the day, and then at the end of the day, you're exhausted, or you've got kids, or, and you have this sense of nagging guilt where we know we should be incorporating fitness into our lifestyle a little more. That's their current reality. And their desired reality is that sense of fulfillment and pride, excuse me, that they now are a gym goer, and the transformation they get to see with their health and their energy. So I don't sell a bridge. I don't talk about, yeah, our gym has 20,000 square feet of gym floor and we have 700 pounds of free weights and yada, 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 yada. I talk about, hey guys, we know how hard it is to fit gym time into your daily life. That's why we are open early and open late. So you can come first thing in the morning before you head off to work, or you can squeeze it in after. We speak to the pain points or the challenges, and then we inspire them with and I'll get into inspiration in one of the next ones. Do not sell the bridge. The only one who cares about the bridge is you. And the bridge comes in later when you're at a sales point, but not when you're at content marketing. When they're actually at the point where they're considering, am I going to purchase this? That's when you give them the details of the bridge, because their logical mind will want that information, but it's not what you're posting on social media or connecting with an email. That's for later down the road when you have a sales conversation or a sales landing page. Quality, little gem, little diamond. You need to stand out in the feed. This is going to be another really interesting one to go into for us. The name of the game is content, which means that if you are going to use social media, email, videos, webinars to engage with your audience, it's going to leave an impression of what your business is. If you're not willing to show up with quality, you're now telling everybody that engaged with that piece of content that that's how you approach business. I am willing to bet most of you are pretty high quality service providers or product providers, because we don't really go into business because it's an easy way to make money. Nobody does that. We'd all go get a job if we just wanted, cash in hand at the end of the day. There's something about us that we're passionate about. And the moment you put your name on a business, like that's your personal name that you put on that. So your content has to be viewed through the same lens. If you want to create a positive brand association, and branding is something I'm going to have a webinar on next month, if it's a topic that you're interested in. Excuse me. Branding is really important, and your content, whether it's intentional or not, is creating an impression of your business and your brand. Not just that, if you want people to stop the scroll or to open an email, they're going to want to anticipate high quality content on the other side of that. We are not competing with the 10K a month social media people. This is another really beautiful piece of being a small scale business. It's kind of ironic. Most small scale businesses are not investing heavily in quality. Quite often when I get a client, it doesn't take me much at all to increase their online profile, because either they didn't have the ability themselves or the people they worked with before didn't focus on making sure everything was a high quality. It doesn't have to be top of the line, but because the small scale that you are operating in, the standards are actually pretty low. As soon as you start investing a bit, you start standing out a bit. One of the things with this type of consumerism is that people who tend to go with small scale businesses, people who shop local, people who work with small scale service providers and entrepreneurs, they're not the same market base that likes the big guys. Like I shop at Walmart when I have to. That's the reality of life. But I'm a local consumer as much as I can be because it reinforces my value system. It's a conscious choice I've chosen. And you will find it's very, very common that the same person who wants to work with somebody who only has like a handful of clients, rather than be part of something that's more of a factory, they're across the board going to be looking to work with small scale people. And they have a different mindset. So you don't need to stand out in the social media feed or the email feed against the 10K a month people. You just need to stand out against the other small scale service providers. This is where investing a little bit in your quality becomes a huge advantage, because the target market you're looking to connect with, they're consuming small scale content. So you bringing up your quality a little bit really gives you a huge advantage. So don't get overwhelmed with this and be like, oh gosh, that's such a high level of production, or it's not about that. And I'm going to give you more guidance on how to get that 20% effort and 80% results out of this in a little bit. Value. It's like giving them a little gift. It really is. This makes content actually more fun even for you. Instead of being like, oh God, I have to post on social media today, or oh God, I'm going to go. That ick feeling that so many of us get when we have to write another email trying to convince people to buy our stuff so that we can put groceries in the fridge next week. Not a good feeling. That's not where anybody wants to be doing business from. And it's not a good feeling on the other side. And it doesn't work, to be completely frank. I'm going to go back for 1 second. I want to give you an example of quality. So for my gym client, what we did to make sure our content had high quality, we actually did a professional photo shoot. We got in real gym members, and it was based in the actual gym, and we got a local photographer in, really great vibe that was very on brand. And he went in and he did a whole photo shoot, really high quality, beautiful photos. And then I had a asset folder of 50 to 75 photos that I worked with for social media for quite a few years. Like they aged out now, we need to do a new one. But because I was able to use professional photos in our social media and on our website that were real gym members, we're not talking stock photos, right? We're not talking iPhone selfies, none of that. We stood out from the other competition. There used to be one other local gym, they've since closed down, but because the standard for other local businesses tends to be stock photos or really poor quality iPhone photos, we really, really stood out. And it created a really positive brand association for our gym because of the quality of those photos. Okay, back to this. Value. Really, really, really fun one. You need to be worth consuming. As much as we think, like, of course people should be reading our stuff. We need them to buy our things. So why wouldn't they? I posted on social media. As anybody who has seen the low reach on social media or the low open rates on that you can have on emails, it's not going to happen just because you want it to happen. It's not how this works. What we need to do is each piece of content we put out there, it needs to go through the criteria of what am I giving to my audience with this? What gift am I giving? What are they going to walk away with? What are they going to receive from reading or watching this video? And there's three specific types of value that content can offer. There's information, there's education, and there's entertainment. And which one you pick will be a mixture. You're going to want to take into account a few different dynamics. You're going to want to take into account your personality. You're going to want to take into account your industry you're working with. So like B2B, maybe not the time to be trying to entertain people. Not that it can't work, but educating people leans a little easier in that direction. But if your personality is something that's super gregarious and you're really, really funny and you can make it about a B2B thing, you can definitely bring entertainment. If you are a lifestyle based and you're helping people change the way that they live, inspiration is a really beautiful piece to bring into this. That you will notice Instagram, it's a lot of inspiration value. That's what a lot of the influencers and all that are offering. And for a lot of us, it can seem really, really shallow, but for the market that they're speaking to in kind of their late teens, early 20s, that feels inspiring for us. We're like, yeah, no, that's not going to do it for me. But you can bring inspiration in a way that's really genuine and authentic. One of my values that I bring, education and inspiration. I really love educating around marketing. And it's a piece that I can provide substantial value for other businesses. There's a lot of confusion in the marketing world and a lot of overwhelm and a lot of mixed messages going around. So my ability to educate is something that I like to really use, but I also use inspiration because I am deeply passionate about marketing and about consumerism in a way that really adds good to the world. And that's another value that I use in my content. My gym people, we are mostly lifestyle because rather than educating people on how to use the gym or how to develop a fitness routine, every now and then we do a little campaign. But for the most part, that information is so readily available. We didn't want to put our resources there. And like, that's another thing you want to take into account. What are your resources? What do you have to work with? We'll get into that in a little bit. But my gym people, ours is mostly inspiration, right? It's really inspiring people to know what it looks like to bring fitness into your life, into a daily habit, and to be part of a community-owned gym and part of something that's locally owned where you walk in and, you know, Bob knows your name. Bob's amazing. He's our front desk staff. That's the type of thing that we use to connect with our audience and to provide value. We have a Monday quote that goes out. It's just inspiration to keep going or, you know, go for your PR, that type of thing. So you need to be worth consuming, because the reality is, as much as we want people to, you know, consume our stuff just because we put it out there and we feel like we did something, we really need to understand when they open this up, what is it that they're going to walk away with? Not just information about us, not just, you know, a desire to buy our product or service, but how are we going to entertain them? How are we going to have educated them a bit? How are we going to have inspired them? We have a lot of content in our lives that we're able to consume. And especially that conscious consumer market I was referencing earlier, the ones that tend to pick small scale businesses, we're not triggered by impulsive decisions as much as the general market. We tend to be very intentional with our money, with our purchasing, but also with our time. So if you really are trying to connect with people who are conscious consumers, who choose maybe a slightly more expensive brick and mortar store downtown rather than Walmart, you need to really show up with value. And it can't be cheap value. It has to be something really attuned to where they are. You have to really understand what will be educational to your market and what will inspire them. If you're trying to inspire a, let's say, a middle-aged woman market, like my age, who has kids, and be like, you know, what do the kids call it now? I don't even know the term the kids call it, but like, look on Fleck. I don't, that's probably like totally aged out. But like, if you're trying to inspire a 40-year-old woman to look like hot, chances are that's not going to resonate with her. She's going to want you to like, she's going to be inspired by feeling your best self and having energy and bringing your best self to the people you love, because that's what inspires her now, rather than like, I want to look really hot and catch all the attention of all the guys and the girls. So you really want to understand your target market. And when you build a content strategy, doing a bit of research into your target market and really breaking down their values and their desires and their current reality, that helps you understand what piece will actually provide value to them, what piece of education or inspiration or entertainment. So this comes down to the actual question of this webinar. Now that I've filled all of those pieces of information into your head, which was not good English, but that's okay, we are going to talk, how do you actually pick which channel? And this is going to be a bit of a myth buster. Like, I have what I talk about with marketing is counter to what you're going to hear in a lot of the feeds and a lot of your Google researching, and that I am going to tell you today that it doesn't really matter what you pick. And after I take a drink of water, I'll explain why. This is going to come back again to the big scale business versus the small scale business. If you really think about it, are you on YouTube sometimes? Do you have an inbox, an email inbox? Are you clicking open some emails? Do you show up on some social media platforms? It's highly likely the answer to that question is yes. I know a couple of people who stay off social media, and I like so impressed with that, the level of restraint that takes. For the most part, we're not really as, it's not like you can only access somebody on YouTube or you can only access on Facebook. It's just not the reality. Most of us are multi-channel consumers. I am a webinar junkie. I absolutely, which is part of the reasons I do webinars, but I absolutely love them. I get so much value from them. I find them fascinating, and the industry is exploding. So if anyone's considering going into webinars, let's have a chat, because that is where it is going. There's billions of dollars circulating online for this. And I will have a Facebook ad pop up because somebody at scale used the algorithm to trigger getting into my feed. And then I will follow them and I will sign up, and then they'll be in my email. They'll be in my inbox, and then I'll read their email, and maybe I'll read the follow-up. Maybe I won't. Sometimes I get busy and I don't keep track. And then they'll probably bring me into a Facebook group. So now I'm on a Facebook community group, not just my own feed. And then if I miss the live and they're not posting it on Facebook, maybe they bring me over to their YouTube channel and I'm catching up on the replays on YouTube. Maybe I'm watching some of their old videos on YouTube. Maybe I found another person that's in an adjacent type of business. So it's multi-channel, and I am multi-channel. And most of the market is multi-channel. So when you get really obsessive about which one to pick, that makes sense on a really, really big scale. Those businesses that need 100,000 viewers a month to make sense on the scale they're working at, they need to get obsessive about which channel am I showing up on. On each channel, there's so big of a pie, and they're competing with all the other big guys to get as big a slice as they can. So if you are a 100K a month business and you know that, hey, if I spend 70K a month on YouTube ads versus 50K a month on Facebook ads, and I get more conversion on Facebook ads than I do YouTube, then it makes sense to show up with content for Facebook. But that's not us. We don't need 100,000 followers. We don't need 100,000 conversions. If you are a brick and mortar or a product base, maybe you need 300, 500 customers. And the best way to do it is to keep them coming back. If you're a high ticket service provider, 20, 30 might do. It doesn't matter if you're showing up completely optimized to the channel, excuse me, that your audience is on, because they're on most of the channels. What really matters is that you're creating authentic connection. So it comes down to being about you. How do you communicate best? What kind of content do you like to produce? Are you a writer? Are you a talker like me and you like to get on video and have free range to just talk at people for an hour? That's me. I love this. This works for me, and I'm good at communicating this way. A lot of the clients I work with, they're not social media people, which I absolutely love, because everyone's like, I know I have to be on social media, but I really don't want to. And I'm like, let's start there. And when you recognize what works for you, and this is part of creating a content strategy, one of my recent coaching clients, she recognized that LinkedIn was probably a really good platform for her to connect with and build her professional reputation and her brand awareness on, but she doesn't like social media. She's not a big fan of posting. She doesn't like doing the like, oh, look at me. It's not her personality. It doesn't align with her business. It doesn't align with her brand. But we still came up with a strategy for her to use. She recognized that she likes reading long form LinkedIn posts. That's the other thing. What kind of content do you like to consume? And I'll mention a little more about that after. She recognized she really enjoys reading story-based posts from people in her industry, and they're really sharing something pretty in-depth and pretty lengthy. So we recognize that was how she wanted to communicate. That was a way she could be comfortable and she could be authentic and she could create real connection with her audience. It's not necessarily what you're going to find if you Google top reach LinkedIn posts, because that is a game for the big guys. You don't need it. So not only did she decide on that, she then went and invested in a course to help her increase her quality of writing stories so that she could really produce great content with this. And one of the tricks to focusing on you rather than getting confused with all the recommendations and what everyone else is telling you is, if there is a type of content that you genuinely feel yourself gravitating to, I like webinars because I like information and I like being able to see people and connect with them in that kind of a way. There's a high chance your target audience likes the same content. When we create a business and a product or service, most of the time it comes from a place where we developed it for ourselves initially. Either we learned the skill ourselves and we want to teach others, or we source the product ourselves and want to offer it to others, or we found in our immediate professional or personal network, there was a need that wasn't being filled and we filled it. So there's high chances you land right smack dab in the middle of your target audience. You are your target audience. I'm my target audience. I'm a small business owner. I have a lot of the same experiences and desires of you guys. My clients end up being my friends because it's just, there's so much overlap because you are your target audience. You have that deep connection that, again, the big guys don't have. So ironically, if you were drawn to emails, you really like consuming this one email that someone sends out every week that's personal and she's sharing this about and this about, it's highly likely your target audience will have the same kind of appreciation for that kind of content. So, sorry, if you can sit back and really think of your own content consumption. What businesses are you regularly consuming their content? You're looking for it on your feed, or every time their email pops up in your inbox, you're likely to open it, or you'll usually watch their YouTube videos. That's most likely a really great place for you to start to build a content strategy from. And the nice thing about this is it leads back into the quality. So instead of trying to master social media, YouTube, videos, a podcast, all of it at once, in which you can't, you'll never be able to produce high quality that way. You're only one person. You only have so much time and so much money or resources to invest in learning the skills it takes to produce quality. Narrow in on your one main channel, the one thing that allows you to communicate in the way that really suits you as a person. And then you can create a content strategy that allows you to invest in increasing the quality that you're producing at. If it's graphics, there's a ton of Canva tutorials and even just playing around with Canva consistently, or you can shortcut it a bit and you can invest in some Canva templates. You can ask a graphic designer or a marketer to produce Canva templates for you so that all you need to learn is how to use those. And then the quality of your content is immediately elevated. But pick one or two channels to really, really focus on. Make them personal. Make them a way you would be excited to show up. And I will give the caveat, I do not believe in the concept that do what you love for work and you'll never work a day in your life. Building businesses is not all rainbows and sunshine. If it was that easy, everyone would choose this route. You will find days where you're like, I really don't want to make another video. I really don't want to do this. But because when you sit back and you take that bigger picture view of understanding why you're doing it, and you know you have a content strategy that's linking you to your business goals, it makes it much easier to honor the plan and intention that you set to sit down and make another video or make another email. And it definitely makes it easier when it's a way you like to communicate and it feels natural for you. I have yet to have a single client that's like, please make me dance and point on TikTok. That's what I love to do. It's probably that I work with an older demographic, but like nobody wants to do that. And you don't have to. You can find the thing that captures your personality. And then the beautiful part of that is, even if it's a little unusual, you become a pattern interrupt. That's one of the, it's like a little jewel that we don't talk about much in marketing. And I'm going to burst this bubble too, because it's another one of my soapboxes. A lot of the programs and courses and recommendations you're getting from people who are like, grow your business using this email system because this is how I grew from here to here. The reason they're selling you that is because it worked for them. And there is a bit of a pyramid scheme approach in online marketing where you take one thing, you make it work for yourself, and then you package it and sell it. It does not take into account your business, your industry, your resources, your marketing. It's completely removed from what marketing should be. It's one strategy that they created based on the context they are in. It does not give you the power of marketing principles. Marketing should be customized. It should not be plug and play. That's why if you're taking a lot of these courses, and I have a lot of clients who have, and they're like, why doesn't this work for me? If you are a solopreneur and you're doing this on your own and you're picking a type of content that is completely foreign to you, or the strategy behind the content feels icky or gross to you, it will not matter how much discipline you try to have, you're not going to do it. We need to feel in alignment with our content, both for our business goals and for ourselves personally. Again, if we wanted to just have to go somewhere, turn off our authenticity or our mind and walk out at the end of the day with some money, we would go work for somebody else. The reason we're running a business and we're doing all of this extra struggle is because we really want to make room in the world for what it is we have to offer and the impact we want to make and the changes we know we can help happen. Excuse me. So content is a lot more about you than it is about all of those recommendations. And I want you from now on, every time you see a recommendation, please stop and consider, what is this person really doing? Are they just trying to get me to buy their thing because they're scaling up really, really high? Most likely that's quite often what happens because you can't scale customization. You can only scale cookie cutter. And they're doing it. They're going to grow really well and you can make a lot of money that way and good on them. But if you are looking for something that's actually going to help your business, you have to filter through that lens and understand that just because they saw results or they had X amount of people see results doesn't mean it's directly applicable to what you're trying to do and what you have to work with. So, summarize, marketing is really the art of earning attention. We live in what's called an attention economy now. This is something all marketers are hyper aware of. We are inundated with content and information and stimulus. There is so much happening constantly to the people in our culture and our society that what we don't have much of is attention. And we have to be very, very careful with where we put it. We are never lacking for something to pay attention to. So many marketing messages are polluting our minds because it's constant. We're constantly trying to be sold to. As a business, if you want to earn attention, you need to show up. You need to leverage that strength that you have of being able to create authentic connection, because that's what's going to help you combat the $10,000 a month the big guys are pouring in to getting attention. And you need to make sure your content strategy is based on attunement, quality, and value. It's a lot of fun when you figure it out and it takes away the ick of marketing. And then when you start to see it really impact your business, it starts to feel like less of a drag. And you start to understand this is really a return on investment. I'm really investing in my business growth by posting on social media or by creating YouTube videos, whatever it is you choose, you start to really feel the power of it. And it doesn't feel like a waste of time anymore. And it doesn't feel as frustrating or confusing. So that's me, my little offer at the end, because I have a program coming up at the end of February. It's going to be a deep dive into creating your content strategy. It's a 4-week intensive. It includes 4 60-minute Zoom classes where I'll be teaching much like this, but it also includes 2 one-on-one coaching sessions because you need to be able to customize. We need to be able to dive deep into your business, and we need to really understand where your business is, what resources you have to work with, and what business goals this content needs to push forward. And as a bonus, I have 365 days of authentic content prompts because sometimes your brain just can't come up with anything. And these prompts all help you build and leverage that authentic connection that you're able to provide your community. The price is $500. It starts February 26th. I will drop a link in the chat. Here's my little thank you sticker. If you guys have any questions, you can drop it in the chat, and then I will do my very, very best to answer them. What would I charge for handling accounts for small businesses? So I have a range. I do coaching, which is a monthly thing. I do, if I'm providing services, it depends. I have social media marketing, social media content production, which is $700 a month. I also do strategies on my website, which I should really grab the link to, right? That would probably be important. There is a lot of, I try to make my pricing very visible so that I think everyone should do that. It's very important. There's my website. There's a lot of pricing information there, or we can have a chat if you want. Love having chats. Any other questions, guys? This is so much fun. Talked a lot. Oh, perfect. Okay. I know how to reach you. We're on each other's socials. Quite a few of you. I love that to actually like bring you a little closer and get to connect a little more with that. That's really feels like a really big privilege to me. A lot of you, I follow your businesses, so I know what you're doing. So it's really, really cool to be able to offer that to you. Oh, I'm very happy. I have a lot. That's why I do inspiration. I have a lot of energy. I'm a very happy person. Excellent. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. I will send out an email with the chat and not the chat, the recording and all that. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.